In Mexico, a mysterious ban erased a supercrop so powerful it once fed entire empires, outsmarting corn in protein, calcium, and resilience. Yet indigenous families risked everything to save it in secret. If Amaranth was truly the forgotten miracle, could its hidden science now feed a world in crisis? The answer begins with their story. Night after night, in the hills of Oaxaca and the villages of Yucatan, hands pressed amaranth seeds into the earth by moonlight. The fields were silent, but every movement carried the memory of a ban that threatened more than a harvest. In Aztec and Maya households, seeds passed from palm to palm, tucked into clay pots beneath the floor, or hidden in bundles among maize and beans. The knowledge of when to plant, how to save, and when to share was spoken softly between generations. Never written, always remembered. Elders taught children to read the signs, the right rains, the safe neighbors, the seasons when Spanish eyes looked elsewhere. Amaranth grew in the margins, sometimes woven among corn stalks, sometimes in secret terraces just beyond the village. Women gathered at dusk to sift and sort the grain, their stories winding through the evening air. In these kitchens, seeds were measured not just by weight, but by the years and risks they carried. Some families kept their seeds in household altars, protected by the same prayers that shielded ancestors. Others buried them beneath the roots of fruit trees, trusting that what was hidden could outlast any decree. No one kept written records. The lineage ran through memory, song, and the careful hands of those who refused to forget. Maria Jimenez Martinez, a Zapotec seed keeper, remembers her grandmother's voice. The Spanish took our temples, but could not take what we kept inside our homes and hearts. Across the highlands and the lowland forests, these quiet acts of resistance ensured that amaranth never vanished. The plant's survival was not a matter of luck, but of choice. An unbroken chain of caretakers who risked punishment to keep a promise. Today, the seeds they guarded still sprout in the same soils, carrying forward a story of resilience that endures in every harvest. Amaranth's value lies not just in memory or tradition, but in the numbers. Nutritionists at the USDA have compared amaranth seed to the grains that dominate modern diets. The results are striking. By weight, amaranth contains nearly twice the protein of corn, about 13 to 14 grams per 100 grams, compared to corn's 7 to 9. It's not just the amount, but the quality of that protein that sets amaranth apart. Unlike most grains, amaranth is rich in lysine, an essential amino acid that the human body can't make and that is often missing in wheat or corn. This single trait means amaranth provides a more complete protein, supporting growth and repair in the body without the need for animal products or complex food combinations. Calcium, too, is abundant. Amaranth offers 159 milligrams per 100 grams, surpassing even spinach. While spinach is famous for its mineral content, much of its calcium is bound by oxalates, making it hard for the body to absorb. Amaranth's calcium is more available, especially when the seeds are soaked or cooked. Nutritionists recommend soaking amaranth overnight or boiling it, which lowers phytate and oxalate levels. These simple steps unlock more of the calcium and iron, making the nutrients easier to absorb. In traditional kitchens, these methods were handed down not just as recipes, but as practical science. The benefits go further. Amaranth is high in iron, around 7.6 milligrams per 100 grams, more than double what corn can offer. It also contains more fiber than spinach, supporting digestion and steady energy. When analyzed side by side, USDA tables show amaranth's micronutrient profile outpaces most common grains and leafy greens. In school feeding trials in Guatemala, Swapping maize porridge for amaranth-based meals raised average protein intake by 40% and cut anemia rates. For families relying on staple grains, this difference can mean taller children, fewer sick days, and sharper minds in the classroom. These numbers are not just statistics. They explain why, for centuries, indigenous communities risked so much to keep amaranth alive. The science now supports what those seed keepers always knew. Amaranth is more than a survivor. It is a superfood, hidden in plain sight, with the power to nourish where other crops fall short. Beneath the surface, amaranth's story is written in roots. Unlike corn, whose roots fan out near the soil's top layer, amaranth drives a single taproot deep, often reaching 2 meters below ground. This taproot acts like a lifeline, tapping reserves of water and minerals that other crops can't touch. In field trials across central Mexico and the dry valleys of India, agronomists tracked amaranth's progress through seasons of unreliable rain. Where maize withered after a month without water, amaranth kept growing, leaves green and stems upright. Even as soil moisture dropped, amaranth plants retained up to 90% of their expected yield, while corn yields fell by half or more. The taproot's reach is only part of the story. Amaranth's leaves are designed to conserve moisture, curling slightly to reduce evaporation during the hottest parts of the day. The plant's rapid growth cycle, just 8 to 12 weeks from seed to harvest, means it can set seed before drought stress becomes fatal. Researchers at Chapingo Autonomous University measured water use across several test plots. For every kilogram of grain, amaranth required up to 30% less water than maize. In side-by-side plantings, amaranth's grain and leaf biomass remained steady through moderate drought, while cornfields showed patchy growth and empty husks. These traits are not accidents of breeding, but the result of centuries of adaptation to tough soils and shifting climates. Amaranth's architecture, deep roots, efficient leaves, flexible timing, gives it an edge in environments where other crops fail. For farmers facing unpredictable weather and dwindling groundwater, this resilience is not just a curiosity. It is a promise that a harvest can still be gathered when the rains do not come. NASA plant physiologists gathered around rows of amaranth growing under artificial lights, testing the limits of what a crop could do in a closed system. In these controlled environment chambers, amaranth delivered nearly all its leaves and seeds as edible food, maturing from seed to harvest in as little as 45 days. Even with recycled water and minimal fertilizer, the plants maintained robust yields and dense nutrition. Dr. Ray Wheeler, leading the NASA trials, described amaranth as a workhorse, capable of thriving where other crops faltered, offering protein, calcium, and iron in a single harvest cycle. These results fueled interest far beyond the lab. Climate modelers at the International Food Policy Research Institute ran a scenario. If just 10% of the world's maize acreage switched to amaranth, the total protein produced could meet the annual needs of up to 500 million people. That figure accounts for losses in storage and processing, and assumes only a portion of dietary protein comes from grains. The numbers are theoretical, but the math is sound. Amaranth's protein yield per hectare doubles that of corn, and its resilience means fewer failed harvests in drought-prone regions. Yet the path to global adoption is anything but simple. Farmer cooperatives in Puebla and Gujarat report that amaranth's tiny seeds shatter easily at harvest, making mechanized collection difficult. Standard grain equipment clogs or scatters the seed, forcing labor-intensive hand-gathering or expensive retrofits. Legal barriers also persist. In Mexico, seed laws rooted in colonial-era restrictions still block the registration and commercial sale of many native amaranth varieties. These obstacles slow the transition from field trials to broad cultivation even as demand grows. For every breakthrough in the lab or on the modeler's screen, there are bottlenecks in the supply chain and roadblocks in the law. But the evidence is clear. Amaranth is not just a relic of the past or a niche curiosity. It is a crop with the proven capacity to reshape food security on a planetary scale, if its promise can be matched by practical solutions. Amaranth delivers nearly twice the protein of corn and more calcium than spinach, as confirmed by USDA nutrition tables. For centuries, indigenous seed keepers in Mexico safeguarded amaranth in secret, defying colonial bans documented in Spanish church records and the Florentine Codex. Today, scientific trials show amaranth's deep taproots can reach 2 meters, maintaining up to 90% yield during drought, starkly outperforming corn under water stress. NASA's Controlled Ecological Life Support System studies verified amaranth's value as a reliable, nutrient-rich crop in closed environments. Yet questions remain. Detailed records of some colonial suppression efforts are still incomplete, and the full global impact of shifting major farmland to amaranth is under ongoing review. What is certain is that amaranth's survival, across centuries of erasure, now aligns with urgent calls for climate-resilient, nutritious crops. As documented evidence shows, this once-forbidden plant holds proven potential to help feed a warming world.